Hi, this is Adammichlaw with Wanderings. Today's class is going to be speaking about why people leave religion. This topic came to me from a conversation I had recently. I work as a spiritual care expert chaplain at a hospital, and I was walking back from the hospital on a windy day, and I ran into somebody who's in one of my programs at the University of Toronto. He's an older gentleman, not too old. And he knows what I do for a living. He knows I'm a religious man. And he and I started having a conversation about a class we were taking. About religion, Judaism in the modern age down at the university. And him knowing what he knows about me, one of the first things he said to me, he said, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I said, oh, are you agnostic or are you an atheist? He said, no, I'm an atheist. There's no rational reason you could believe in God. There's no rational, it doesn't make any sense. And then I just sat there and listened to him for a while. We had a conversation, and there was a conversation of mutual respect. And I find atheism to be one of the most difficult topics in the world to discuss as a religious person because it makes the least amount of sense to me from a intellectual perspective. But I want to say that I think that's the whole point here, and the point of this lecture today is that it's not coming necessarily, in my opinion, from an intellectual place. It's coming from a different place, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So today's topic is, why do people leave religion? So when he brought this up with me, he said, yeah, I'm an atheist now, but I was once very different. I was once like you. And he doesn't really know me and my path either, and where I came from, and what's going on with my spirituality, but I accepted him at face value. And afterwards I was thinking about what makes a person decide they're not religious anymore. What makes a person become an atheist? It wasn't like he said he was always an atheist, and it said he was once religious and he became an atheist. Though I'm sure there are many people who were never religious and connected to atheism. Anyway, I could connect to atheism on the emotional level, but not the intellectual level. I think that the idea that there must be something beyond is just so ingrained in our humanity that there's something deeper beyond what we see in this world, beyond materialism and rationalism. I actually believe, according to Maimonides, that rationalism is an important way to approach religion, but at some point that philosophy has to end and there has to be some letting go. But nevertheless, some people do hold this as an intellectual belief in atheism. So there's two things a person could say why they're atheist. And I think the first one is a canard, though others will disagree with me, and the second one has more basis to it. The first one is saying, I'm an atheist doesn't make any rational sense that there should be a God. Now, without getting into all the proofs and science versus religion and stuff, that was just a topic that I'm not really caring to go into so much. For someone to say they are 100% a hardcore atheist and say there's no possibility there's a God, I think is a foolish statement to say, because there are many things around us which give us strong evidence or proof that there was a creator. So if someone says they don't think there was a God, or they're not sure, or they're agnostic, it makes more sense to me. But to be hardcore sure in the materialistic nature of the universe is hard for me. So that's why the intellectual reason, of the rational reason of saying is that God doesn't make sense, I don't believe in God, doesn't really make sense. The second reason makes more sense, and this will tie into a lot more of my other videos and things that I speak about, which is the emotional reason why people don't believe in God. And really gets into my main topic of here, why people leave religion. What I wanted to say to this guy, and I didn't have time to, but I thought about it later, and maybe I will next time I see him, was when he said to me, I don't believe in God, if it was at the right moment, I would have asked him, who let you down? Did God let you down, or did the community let you down? My gut feeling, particularly around the way the person said it, was that he felt let down in his world. And the other major atheists who I've talked to conversations with, though he never was a quote-unquote religious person, I also feel he feels incredibly let down by the big question, the question that we deal with a lot in this channel, which is suffering, which is, why did I have to suffer? If God is good, why did I have to suffer? Or the second question, which is, if God is good and these people, the religious people, are supposed to be the ones representing God, why are they so cruel or not good or corrupt at times? Why do I see that? Why do I see negativity? So again, the intellectual question of why of not believing in God seems to me to be false. And I think it's mainly people don't believe in God because of the second reason, because of suffering. They feel that God let them down, or they feel that the community let them down. And why I think it's important for a person of deep thought and introspection to make their own relationship and connection with God on their own terms, in addition to whatever spiritual system that they're engaged with. That it's something that they have to make their own connection, their own spirituality around it. Otherwise, the house could come tumbling down when something happens, when they're suffering, when the community lets them down, when they feel God has let them down in a particular area. Then the whole thing comes tumbling apart. But if a person makes their own sense of ownership on spirituality on their own, then they won't. So I would say that most people leave religion because they feel let down, because they feel they're suffering, they don't deserve their suffering, they see suffering around them, it doesn't make sense to them, and therefore they say this can't possibly be true. The things that religion's teaching are not true. Or the community, which is supposed to represent God, lets them down also. And they see this is hypocritical. People are more into this culture. They're more into superficial things. Why these people seem so spiritual on the outside, but in the inside they're really not. I don't get it. And I think that could be incredibly disappointing for people. So I think the main thing is to fix this is being real. Working with somebody, having community, having somebody to talk to, having a spiritual leader or a psychotherapist, somebody who you can talk to about your real existential struggles and have a safe place without hearing all the religious reasons. Well, these bad things happened to you because of this. Well, the Holocaust happened because of this. Well, you deserved this, or any other reason somebody gives you. A place where you can develop your own spirituality in a free, safe place. If your spirituality wasn't ever developed in a safe space, then you're not going to want to connect to religion. If there was never a sense of accomplishment, of safety, of beauty, of wonder, of free inquiry in your spiritual system, then it's no wonder you're going to leave it. And if you associate God with that system, when that system falls, it's going to fall too. So, as a rabbi, people oftentimes are afraid to tell me that they're angry with God, that they are suffering with something. But I actually encourage people just to be totally real with their feelings, because whatever those feelings are, they're real. And when you can express them, when you can feel them, that's what's going to get you moving towards the healing process. You need to be 100% real with what you're holding. If you don't feel safe with anybody to do that, you can always do that through prayer or meditation or contemplation or journaling or whatever way that you feel that you can express yourself. But being angry at God is an expression of a relationship with God. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Maybe it's a higher level to accept, get to the level of some sort of submission or acceptance or wonder. But I am saying we have to be real with our feelings wherever they are and get in touch with them, wherever they are, good and bad. And that's going to enable us to have a deep relationship and also to make that individual sense of ownership with our spirituality and not make it linked and depending on the community and people. And you're allowed to ask questions sometimes. Ask, why did this have to be? Why did this happen? Maybe you won't get the answers that you want. Maybe you probably won't get any answers at all. But by being able to ask those questions, those deep existential questions, you're going to find that you feel some repose for your soul. This is Adammichlaw with Wanderings, and everyone should be healthy and stay safe.